Greetings to you, our wonderful viewers. As we had actually started last week with talking about the new ministries that the new president has made, President Hakainde Hichilema, among them the Ministry of the Green Environment, the Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprises, as well as the Ministry of Science and Technology, under the helm of Mr. Felix Mtati as the minister heading it. So here we are at the University of Zambia'S School of Natural Sciences, and with me is Dr. Munyati, who is going to give us his expert comment on what he really thinks about the ministry, his expectations, and so much more that can come from him. Thank you so much for according us this opportunity.
Okay.
My apologies.
Okay.
Firstly, we would like to get your overall opinion about the creation of this particular ministry.
Okay, thank you very much for coming and also according me the opportunity to be able to say something about the new ministry. We're actually extremely excited on the creation of the new ministry of Science and Technology. As you are aware that previously, Science and Technology was actually under the Higher Education, Ministry of Higher Education. And Ministry of Higher Education is a very, very, very big entity. So we're excited that now we have a specific ministry that will actually look after the affairs in terms of science and technology. As you are aware that science and technology is actually an enabler, okay? So it touches all socio-economic development. So I think it's just getting its rightful place as sitting on its own as a ministry. So we're very excited.
So in line with the excitement that comes from you as a science and technology expert, as I can put it, what really are your expectations from this particular ministry?
Okay, our expectations are quite high. Given the background that I already said that the ministry was under, science and technology was basically under higher education. So our expectations are high in the sense that now that we have a specific ministry, that a lot will be done in terms of the various facets. And also taking into account that the ministry is created also in line with the new government's manifesto. So if you look at the manifesto, which has been presented, there are a lot of facets that actually will sort of drive or actually have a very, very severe impact in terms of how we perform in future on science and technology. Starting from funding, for example, that when you actually have a ministry which is directly looking after science and technology, we expect that there will be more funding which will actually be received in the various areas of science and technology. Okay. And the science and technology, by the way, spreads beyond tertiary institutions, where the tertiary institutions are involved in research and development and teaching. So when we look at what is put in the manifesto, we see that there is going to be a drive towards better, higher quality education in science and technology, which requires basically that there will be more input in terms of financial resources. So we've been lagging behind in terms of infrastructure. If you look at the University of Zambia when it was created, you've been at the University of Zambia and you've seen that not much has occurred in terms of improvements in the infrastructure for science and technology. So we're expecting that we will have improved infrastructure, which will also help us to deliver effectively in science and technology.
So what were the major limitations when it was operating under a different ministry, when it was merely a department?
Yeah. So we think that resource allocation was perhaps not as to expectations. Okay. So in other words, for example, when you've got under science and by the way, science and technology is not just about universities, right? You've got, for example, National Institute of Industrial Research. You've got TDRC in Dola. So you've got a lot of research and development institutions that also required funding. So you can imagine that under Ministry of Higher Education, you would actually not get those resources that we would actually expect. So I think there were limitations in terms of the resources being released for science and technology.
Okay.
So we are now hopeful that with the new ministry, more resources will be made available for science and technology.
So from an expert point of view, would you advise any age range of who is supposed to be employed at what level and what are they supposed to handle their duties?
No, in terms of science and technology, everyone has got a contribution. You know very well that the president himself has said that he wants entrepreneurs from 21 years old. So you've got, for example, if you look at, say, typical at University of Zambia, you've got, for example, the Department of Computer Science. Look at those people. You see, they can channel out products or outputs at a very early age. So I don't think there should be as long as people have actually reached a particular, say, qualification or certification and they graduate, they should be able to enter into science and technology.
Any final remarks? What would you like to tell the people of Zambia and, of course, the world, looking at this new development that we've had as a country?
We are very expectant, as I said, and with the propositions that have been put in the UPND manifesto, the new government in place, promising that there will be more input into infrastructure development, quality education, which means putting in more money. That means that buying equipment for research, buying new equipment for teaching, and so on and so forth. So we also expect that it's a challenge, obviously, to those in the science and technology sector, and especially us in the research and development, that we should also increase our output. So I anticipate that we will have more outputs, and more outputs means also that we are contributing more towards socio-economic development.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. I think, firstly, thank you so much for your contribution, and we value it so much. We hope you, our dear viewers out there on our YouTube channel, can also have something to say and comment at the numbers scrolling right down there on your screen. My name is Chiemba Kamweho. On behalf of Let's Work Africa-Majeur, it's next time.